Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and today we're going to watch a replay. Yes, we're going to watch a replay of a campaign battle I did last night on stream, as this was one of a few battles that kind of stuck out to me, and it's something that we need to talk about. Unfortunately, it's the only one I saved because I kind of got annoyed. I was like, yeah, I'm going to save this. So, a settlement battle. I'm playing the Skaven. The AI is playing the Disciples of the Maw. They were attacking me as I had control of a few areas, and Vlad had brought me into a war against them. It's a shame because I was allied to both. But, yeah, we're going to talk about sieges. We're going to talk about line of sight. We're going to talk about AI. The kind of important issues in Total War Warhammer that really need to be fixed as soon as possible. Now, you can see the roster, you can tell that this is something that I'm going to lose. This is just a settlement garrison versus a pretty decent ogre stack, which should be able to charge right in and devastate me. But yes, it's not the case. And before anyone says anything, I'm not being negative for the sake of being negative. This is a game that I very much love. I want to see it improve, but in some cases there's a step forward and then there's about 2 steps back. And in my honest opinion, this is something that Creative Assembly needs to deal with ASAP, because it does break immersion for the game and it does make the game less enjoyable. So what you can see here is the ogres have started attacking me at this point, and that's all well and good, right? At the end of the day, that's what they're supposed to do. Yeah, watch them. Just keep watching them because, yeah, it gets a little sad. So the ogres are charging in through multiple points in an effort to take control points. Obviously, that's going to do some damage against me. But, yeah, as you can see here, they started charging in and stopping. And this is something that happens in 2 points of the map. It's something which I've never really seen before until very recent patches. This is something that is supposed to be fixed, by the way. You know, line of sight issues, just general AI activity. In one point, they are fighting. They're basically slamming into my spears. And that's all well and good because at the end of the day, well, yeah, you know, they're supposed to do that. They're going to try and push their way through. But the area where my storm vermin are, they are barely moving. In fact, yes, the lead belchers move up, but they move up and down. The second area, which is where their lord is, they took out my night runners. I made a mistake there. That is actually my fault. But that's it. They're just staying there. They are more focused killing these units than actually trying to move up. And it gets worse as time progresses. Don't you worry. You see, the AI just kind of dies there. At certain points throughout this battle, I just kind of stopped playing and watched as things unfolded so I could talk to the rest of my viewers. Obviously works well as a streamer, but you're expecting gameplay if you're watching a stream, right? And yeah, there's certain cases, like for example, you can see here, the lead belchers are trying to get into combat. Yeah, they just don't know how to deal with it. Eventually, they do manage to get a bit of fire in, but again, nothing. And these are supposed to be line of sight changes. This is supposed to make it smarter for them to be able to fire. Not only that, but you can see there's a bunch of ogre bulls back there just doing nothing again. And it goes on. This is a long video, you can tell. It's already around 17 minutes long. The battle was, what, 15 minutes? And this just kind of happens. Eventually, they do get into fire, and then I start moving in my storm vermin. But nothing actually happens. We apparently had some line of sight changes in patch 3.0. That's yet to be seen. In fact, I think line of sight is actually getting a bit worse, because there are certain battles that I've streamed where, yeah, the AI just doesn't fight. The AI just kind of dubs out and waits until the very last moment to be able to actually start firing. And when it comes to sieges, well, you know, sieges have had issues since, well, the whole siege system was introduced, and they decided to just make them less frequent, which is not a fix. I'm sorry, at this point, it is not a fix. I mean, here I'm just basically using my slingers to fire into the enemy lines, because they're not moving for me. And you might say, yes, that's kind of natural because they'll be dealing with the units that are trying to flee so they can get rid of them and so on. Yeah, but just wait until a bit later where those units are actually fully gone. Now, here, they did finally start moving up with one of the ogre bulls. It was actually quite interesting, whilst the other 2 units of ogre bulls decided to stay very perfectly still. Again, not too sure why, but at least it makes it easy for my storm vermin to actually attack. We had one point in this siege battle where, yeah, the AI was acting completely normal, but again, this just keeps continuing, and we'll get back to this. We'll keep watching the battle as we discuss stuff. I think Creative Assembly need to stop prioritizing fixing a lot of issues which are very obvious. You can't just get rid of siege battles, or at least, you know, reduce the amount that you'll see, and then just expect things to work, right? It's the same thing with just line of sight. There needs to be a bit of a priority focus. There usually is in the case of the patches, and I don't want to say this in a bad way, but the patches tend to be very focused on multiplayer. But we know for a fact that multiplayer is a very small amount of players when it comes to Total War. There's a lot of people that watch it, because yes, it's very entertaining. There's a lot of creators out there, like Turin, for example, which make really awesome videos and make it very engaging. But when it comes to you, the player, how often do you play this? How often do you play a domination match or a standard quick battle? A larger number of the players do focus around campaign, which is why new content usually brings a lot of people in. And there are certain patches where it's just literally just multiplayer. And don't get me wrong, I feel it's important because obviously tournaments and so on. But even then, we've been having a lot of issues with the tournaments, haven't we? With certain mods creeping in, which could allow people to watch what you're building. So yeah, I know the ability that I have with this game, and I know for a fact that I should have lost this battle. There is just too much ogres and not enough anti-large. I didn't really have a garrison, well, just the basic garrison. I didn't have any units protecting the area, didn't have a lord, I didn't have any magic. Obviously, I was going to lose this. But you can see here, for example, yeah, the lord, the guys here, they're just standing around, doing nothing. And it's kind of frustrating to see this when you're playing for long periods of time. Maybe it's something that you might not notice too often, but I do like 8-hour streams because I enjoy them. I enjoy talking to my viewers. We theorize about what could come next, talk about the tabletop, talk about anything really. So when we're there, this shows up and we notice it. We very much notice it. And it's frustrating. It is really frustrating. Because I'll tell you what, right? The issue is just the implementation of the siege system, not just the siege system. Because I like the siege settlements. I like the settlement battles. Normally I play with mods to get rid of the build a tower stuff, but I'm playing a full-on modded campaign. And I'll tell you what, right? Like the cities are beautiful. Yeah, well, I mean, this is a Skaven city, not so much, but you know what I mean, right? They look cool. They've got really cool visuals to them. They feel like they're part of the race, even the ones that are kind of reskinned, because let's be honest, there's a bunch of ones which are just reskinned. But stuff like this just kind of kills it. This is why people don't like the siege battles, because the AI doesn't know how to deal with it. The AI doesn't know how to pathfind. The AI just pretty much completely dies, and yeah, it's not fun. And it's something that I might have not noticed so much when I'm just recording videos and so on, but when I'm actively talking to people and people are pointing it out, going, oh my god, are you watching this? It's like, yeah, I can see it. I mean, here we go, right? The last of the Bertsches are coming in, and they're going to try and shoot a little bit. It takes them a while because for some reason they think that they could shoot right through basically a solid object. So I decide to charge in with my storm vermin to just get rid of them. The rest of the guys are just still back there, not doing anything. So we fight them, we break them, and for the rest of the actual fight, I don't know what's going on, but, and you'll notice this, the lead belchers are more or less where these two ogres are, but just running into the lava. Well, one of them is. The other one is just like missing of the last two remaining entities. So yeah, it becomes a bit of an issue. Again, priority needs to be put into fixing these types of things because this is their flagship title. This is a massive title, right? This is their third and final game of their series, and unfortunately, this is not good enough. I know that devs put a lot of time into this stuff. The Chaos Dwarfs are quite cool and so on, but there are a lot of bugs like this which don't make the battles fun, and this is Total War game. Battles are kind of part of the game. I wish I had more examples, but I literally just did not save any, like I said. But by this point in the battle, I just didn't really do much. I built up a tower and so on, but I wasn't really moving my forces. Mostly because at this point I was thinking, well, if the game's not going to bother, I'm not going to bother, right? And yeah, there you can see the lead belcher just kind of running away, doing nothing. And this for the rest of the battle, kind of like that. The towers are doing their work. The area where I was actually getting attacked by is holding, and yeah, that's it. With just some basic examples from other streams, I can say we had a battle when I was playing Grimgore, and I was basically using a full line of boar boys. I was doing like a Orc Bretonian type of meme army. And the enemy army just stayed there as I basically went around them and shattered them from all sides because I was charging them through the front, through the flank, and through the rear. It was kind of silly. And you can see that type of stuff when it comes to battles like this, where, yeah, they're not moving. No matter how much I'm throwing at them, I've got towers hitting at them, nothing is actually happening. In some of the cases, I had some pretty strong towers attacking very large enemies, and yeah, they were not trying to attack the towers, they were not trying to capture the points, they were just trying to fight everything else. I mean, just like kind of expanding through different areas, scaling different walls, where just nothing was fighting them, so they were just trying to find an enemy straight after, which would take them a while. We had a battle where I was defending against the ogres once again, and Skrog was just getting his pathfinding blocked. He just didn't know where to actually go, left, right, or center, up or down. He was literally just going up a corridor, then turning around, going to a completely different corridor. It was just really, really bizarre. But this one, I think, is the best example because, as you can see, I'm not moving my troops. I'm not bothered. I am occasionally spending resources and actually just buying a tower upgrade so I can do a bit more damage. But again, nothing is really changing here. They're not moving. They're not doing anything. They're just staying there and dying. And then there's the lead Bertsche unit, which is just trying to, for some reason, go into the lava. It's honestly really, really bizarre. This needs to be fixed. This really needs to be fixed, because if it's happening to me, it's definitely happening to other people, because this is a non-modded campaign. We know for a fact that Creative Assembly said in their last patch notes for 3.0, it's like, yes, there is plans for 3.1, because there's a bunch of stuff that they didn't have time for 3.0, and fair enough, at the end of the day, yes, they do have to devlog. But I really hope this is something that they've got plans, because I don't recall seeing stuff like this in the known issues list. The fact is, there's a lot of stuff in, again, 3.0, which was focused on multiplayer, and then obviously there was the whole Mirror of Madness thing, which, I know I don't like it. It's one of those things where they've done it to be able to get a long-standing relationship with Intel. It will benefit us in the future, but did Mirror of Madness and did Daniel's new parts and all that type of stuff just take away from that? Why is there a bunch of survival battles in custom battle? Does that get used much? You know, this is something which I'm very curious to know at this point, because battles like this are not good. They're not fun for me as a player. They're not fun for people to see as a viewer. They're not fun for players in general, right? Now, I don't want to rant too much, but this is definitely something that Creative Assembly need to start putting into their priority list, because this is kind of important. Issues like this can basically just kill the reason to want to play. I'm going to let the rest of the battle play out, because I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of tired. It's 3 a.m. and I feel like I'm just going to keep repeating myself, whereas I do feel like I'm justified to repeat myself, because this was an abysmal battle, and you'll see how it just gets worse and worse as time progresses. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Is there anything, any issues that you had regarding recent battles, any examples, just the stuff like that that could just be reported to CA? I could gather it up and just do a little report, because yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it does help for us to report stuff. It does make sure that Creative Assembly do keep an eye on certain things, and I feel like this is going to be kind of important. But with all that being said, guys, have a lovely day, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.
Meat's getting carved! Pulverize them!